Welcome back to the North American LCS. Remember, the new season of Game of Thrones premieres tonight on HBO, and if you came here for League of Legends, you're in the right place. Right now, we're kicking off our day with 4th place Team Dignitas versus 3rd place Counterlogic Gaming, and Jat Dig needs this win to secure the 4th seed in the summer playoffs.
Absolutely. If they lose this game, they leave the door open for a Curse to tie it back up with the win, and since they are 3-1 with Dig in the head-to-head, Curse would actually take the 4th seed and get the choice of which side they want in the playoffs. But to do that, they'll need to shore some things up. Dignitas, if they want to win, of course. Kiwi Kid was impatient with his initiations versus Coast yesterday, allowing them to stay in the game and eventually pull out the win. Also, I have to say, Golden Glue will need to perform a bit better. Even though he has had some decent results, his early game has not been solid. CS at 10 minutes. 72 CS at 10 minutes is the average for NA LCS mid laners. Through 5 games, he's sitting at 51. As an example, the next lowest is High at 68, who does a lot of roaming and says he does not care about farming his lane. So Golden Glue has to work on his early laning for Dignitas to move forward. And
CLG have been having some off games as well. So far, they are 1-2 on this week.
Yeah, and COD said they were approaching their games like a scrim and as an opportunity to try out new things. But honestly, as much as they like to think that you can turn it on and off, losing momentum and dealing with losses can really mess with the team. They acknowledged that yesterday, actually, and I expect to see them playing a lot more discipline today and really trying to end their week on a high note.
And Counterlogic Gaming have been a dangerous team since Dexter joined, and with Dignitas still adjusting to their recent roster change, CLG think it will give them the edge they need.
CLG is looking way stronger, especially since Dexter got back.
In the rotation, they seem to have really good lead on many other teams.
I'm not scared of Dig. The way they control objectives is so like Season 2-ish.
We just got Golden Glue, and we just need to, explore his champ pool a lot more.
I believe Golden Glue is some solo queue player that just happened to impress Dignitas. That was the weirdest move I've ever thought could ever happen with Dig. The last person that I would replace is Scarra, actually. Going down the list, everybody would be higher priority to replace than Scarra.
Once we get the rough edges sorted out with him, I think he's going to be a really good player.
I'm more scared of Scarra's coaching, honestly, than Dig.
Damn.
Damn indeed.
Doublelift is back at it.
Yeah, that's just Doublelift indeed. Let's check out the starting lineups and get right into this one. On the blue side, it's Dignitas. It's going to be Cruiser in the top lane, Crumbs in the jungle, Golden Glue in mid, Cutie Pie at AD carry, Kiwi Kid on support. As they're having a little chat about.
Something. On the red side of the CLG, Nyen in the top lane, Dexter in the jungle, Link in mid, Doublelift back to his old ways on AD carry, and Aframu on support.
Dignitas would absolutely love a win here. Some champions being shared in the pool. We've seen Cruiser playing Lee Sin in that top lane, but Dexter's also had some fun in that with the jungle recently.
Lee Sin saw a lot of first picks yesterday. So many teams are using him as a priority, either in the top lane or in the jungle. Maybe one day we'll see his triumphant return to the mid lane as well. You never know.
Leave it up to Froggen to do weird things.
Yeah, we'll see. I think he's
Bring
a
back
priority
Jarvan
in this game for sure.
We'll see what happens. Both teams ready, poised for champion select, and so are we as we start off our 3rd day of Super Week. Already, the mid laners getting a bit of focus here as we start off the match. I don't think it's going to really change. Might see the Lulu as well. The Evelyn goes out, so Lee Sin is going to be already in the minds of both Dexter and Cruiser.
Yeah, the Draven ban getting drawn. I'm a Cutie Pie had a really solid Draven game yesterday. It was actually when Jinx and Lucian had been banned away from him. As soon as you push Cutie Pie up until a wall, he'll fight back.
He doesn't want those assists. You want all the kills
he gets the kills. He's a bloodthirsty player. I mean, he is the one who will go in and KS, as we saw in our future yesterday.
Indeed. If Kiwi Kid doesn't get there first.
Yeah.
Steal it away even harder. Elise banned out as well. Still great steals coming from Elise despite whatever hit she took. And it is going to be the Kha'Zix pickup, and that was an insta-lock on Lee Sin for Dexter.
And absolutely on Thresh.
Yep.
We've been talking a lot about the quality of the North American Thresh players. There's a little bit of discussion on Reddit where they're just like, maybe it's just a problem with the champion. And it's like, well, Thresh is a full utility, amazing support who can oftentimes do everything, and that is true. But I do not think that takes away from the mechanical complexity and the skill required to pull him out. The fact he's been out for a year, and now we're seeing these guys be good at that, just shows you the time investment these guys put into that champion to reach that skill level.
Golden Glue returning to what he knows in the mid lane. Orianna once again. Looks like he will have a better time hitting some ultimates here. Only going to have Dexter jumping around the fights. We do see a quadra kill coming from Golden Glue, and Kiwi Kid will get his Annie, so that's kind of the thing they look for as their initiation. If nobody else is there, they have Kiwi Kid for that.
Yeah, that's a nice combo for them. It'll actually be on Kiwi Kid to line up the initiations for Golden Glue. And as soon as they have that kind of hard initiation shell for Dignitas, CLG goes immediately to the poke comp. Nidalee and Lucian are kind of classic pokers.
Classic indeed. I'm gonna go for the old play on this one. They take the Lucian Thresh lane as well. We've mentioned before how much Double Lift and Afromu struggled against that, so now they take it under their wing to be strong. Cutie Pie gonna lock in an Ezreal really quick for this composition. A little more big ultimate damage. Yeah.
This could be a very long-range game. Ooh, with that Jace picked as well.
He's been loving it. Russian BF sword in that lane and then just gating everybody.
I really enjoy watching Cruiser play his own champions.
Yeah.
He looks so much more comfortable when he is not forced onto Renekton and Shyvana. And I think he finds so much more success as well. Now it's on to see the end. He's probably just going to end up going with Shyvana. Or Trundle. Trundle would be a pretty good thing here because it synergizes better with the poke comp. He really only has about four competitive champions.
Right.
Ryze, Shyvana, Trundle, Renekton.
They pretty much canceled out the use of Ryze in this one with the picks previously. And Trundle, like you said, the pillar will be good. Keep him at range, keep the distance. We'll see teleports for the top laners, steady and holding for now. Something that's been switching on and off for teams, as the 2v1 has also been something that comes to light now with 4.4.
Yeah, we're going to be seeing a lot of teleports as these guys continue to adapt to the patches. I expect it's an interesting choice by CLG here. They're not going to be wanting to fight very much at all this game. Yet Crumbs with the jungle Kha'Zix will want to fight actually fairly frequently. So even though Dignitas actually has a fair amount of long-range damage, they have much more wanting to really initiate strongly in these team fights, whereas Dignitas will really just be looking to work on their rotations and avoiding team fights. That's what the Nidalee Lucian Trundle is for.
We'll have to see as the teams load into the game. Let's check your predictions, as they are according to LOLesports.com. 80% of you are giving this one to CLG, taking the first win of the day.
Yeah, and it has not been the picture-perfect week for CLG. They had the defeat to Cloud9, as well as a very sloppy game against Curse yesterday where they fell. But they do want to finish the Super Week on a strong note. They were locked into third before their games even started this Super Week. Dignitas is also here playing for seeding and playing with some momentum. Scar is the coach, Golden Glue is the new mid laner, trying to make it all work.
Make it work indeed. With this composition, knowing that Golden Glue is kind of the factor that a lot of teams have been looking at they can go after first, do you just go to punish that against Dignitas?
I think you do.
It's an easy answer.
I think especially with the way Dignitas, or with the way CLG was talking about him. I know Double Lift sometimes exaggerates a little bit, but you can absolutely tell that Dignitas wants to protect Golden Glue, and CLG wants to attack him.
Well, we'll see how close they can get to those front lines in the early part of the game. See if any true vision is being bought out here, but no. Looks like they keep it with the trinkets, so it'll be long-lasting. Doran's Blades for the top lane as well on both sides.
Yeah, it could be a fighting Doran's Blades, or they're just using those Doran's Blades to jungle early.
That's true.
These teams have a somewhat defeatist attitude into running into the 2 or 3v1 lane. And that looks the way we're going to be formatting these, which will actually isolate the mid lane a fair bit for Link and Golden Glue. As we mentioned in the pregame, Golden Glue only averaging 52 CS in 10 minutes. The league average, of course, being 72. So we'll track that. You'd think it would actually be higher because everyone says that breakpoint is, oh, keep 10 CS a minute. That's actually not what pro games average at. They're much closer to 76, 77 is really the top you'll see just because of the rotations and because these guys counter-harass each other to prevent them from CSing.
Looks like they're putting quite a focus on the bottom side. Dig going for the invade, but you already see that Double Lift and Aframu are hugging that top side, so it looks like we are going to get the 2v1 to start off. The wards aren't going to be there for the extra vision, so this is all just to kind of get the early gold flowing if they can get to the turret pushes in time. We'll see how they try to organize it. We've been saying the jungler's the one to go top. They'll probably do the same thing. We'll see what can happen out of that. CLG with the rotations, this should always favor them with this kind of gameplay.
I wonder if CLG is going to share jungle experience between Lee Sin and Trundle. There was a very interesting Challenger quarterfinal between Complexity Black and Complexity Red, where the top laner and jungler both shared until they were both level 2, instead of having the jungler hit level 3 and the top laner hit level 1. And then they sent all 4 to the lane, all with 2 skills in. And they actually were able to shove and kill the inhibitor turret, instead of just the second tier turret, which most teams end up doing. Yep, just the standard buff rates.
Yeah, nothing crazy. Dexter is going to be taking out easily this blue for himself. The ward gives them all the coverage they need. And actually, see Crumbs getting himself back into position as well. So the bottom lane pushing in. Nothing really coming from both teams in the early part of the game until they get what they want, which is that first and second turret if possible. And then the gold flows. Who can work with that gold better is what we're really looking at. Like you said, both teams kind of staving off on the fights. They're going to want to hold this off with hard hats on. So here we go to the side lanes. Let's get the push and go.
Ooh, we got a little minion. He was hoping Yen would be a little bit lower than that.
Getting things started early.
See how Golden Glue vs. Link does. The lanes are going to be shoving. There's actually it's a 4-man.
4, yep.
They're going to toss down to the bottom. Kiwi Kid level 1, but Cruiser just hitting level 2. They'll shove very quickly here. Cruiser being able to hypercharge.
This actually is quite big.
No, he didn't even skill up his W. Dignitas could be shoving faster than this right now. Cruiser got his gate and his shock blast instead for the escape in case they get collapsed upon.
It would be great to have a Trundle in that top lane with Frozen Domain down getting attack speed, but it looks like they are just going to keep pressuring on without him, so they're trading even on that, even with the armor champion reduction on the top turret damage. So great pushes here, but it's up to that second turret and who can start to rotate out of that. Golden Glue low on mana as he tries to keep the lane pushed against Link. It looks like he's been landing a few of his own spears. Still only 3 on this. Looking at the bottom turret now, it's already going to be taken down before CLG can get that top one. So Dignitas cruising along.
Just the straight up trades. Both teams decided this is what they wanted to do, so that is the way it happened.
Just letting it kill minions.
Double lift. And AmaCutiePie. AmaCutiePie actually isolating the gold for himself there. Got all the local experience, and Kiwi Kid is starting his roaming very early, like he likes to.
So we do see Nian is level 3, so I don't think he's going to be meeting anybody soon. So the level discrepancy between Cruiser and him
shouldn't affect
too much. The party indeed. Does look like Dexter invited too many friends. Get some airmail there from Link on the backside, almost coming up with first blood as Counterlogic Gaming rotates everybody through the jungle of Dignitas instead of backing after the second tier turret.
Yeah, like we thought in Champ Select, this is a very rotation-heavy game for CLG. They're just practicing the crispness. There's a flash, burning another one.
This is crazy. When we see other teams doing this right after that bottom second tier is taken, so is Dragon, but CLG has fast rotated from top lane, and now it's theirs.
Preventing the Dragon play right there. It's very low levels right now, so the Dragon does a substantial amount of damage. And this could be an interesting little dancer. Neither team should really be starting this Dragon because it would mean defeat.
CLG has not had the chance to go back and spend this turret gold that they got. We have CutiePie with the Scepter coming back into lane, so there's a little bit more damage coming in from Dig on this fight. But like we said, the levels are so low. It's going to be all about this push. 4 men in the bottom, Link trying to hold mid, and it looks like Kiwi Kid level 2. He just blew his flash on the hook. He's going to be in the wrong spot at the right time for CLG. First blood.
CLG moves faster, and they are not afraid to turret dive 4v2.
They made sure to get so many wards in before they even tried for that Dragon. Behind red buff is what got Kiwi Kid killed there, and they're still trying to put the pressure on. CutiePie needs to at least get in range for that experience, but he cannot. Golden Glue also getting pushed out of mid lane since nobody else is there to help him, and he eats one to the face from Link.
Just destroys him, hits level 6 first and just starts pouncing around. You don't usually see solo kills right there, but you could tell Golden Glue with the flash being burned prior and also going Ignite on Orianna. A lot of Orianna's Go Barrier does not have the defensive capabilities to stop that one.
CLG just starting pandemonium there. Nien also coming in for it. He knows Kiwi's too. He thought about that for a second, and then they just reassessed the fight and said, we are still on top of this one. Just doing out the pillar to give Cutie Pie a little more harass and trouble in his ways. They're going to be back out. Kiwi Kid does have the Sight Stone, so this proves good for Dig. This can hopefully stop CLG always getting into their base. Now the CLG has to back a little breathing room for Dig, but that was bad.
Yeah, that was very bad for them. CLG picked up many advantages off that. You can see this huge amount of wards that CLG just picked up. 4 pinks this early on in the game. Because all the early turrets have been taken down, the vision control becomes even more important, and it will be very difficult for Dignitas to control these things since they are using their flashes pretty much as they come up again. And they're still under-leveled, and the one lane that wasn't getting super rotated on died 1v1.
And CLG is almost getting advantages out of this since Dragon didn't take it down. They can pressure more. Dig may not even be able to formulate onto this, so CLG giving themselves more advantages from everything they've already done. There's a nice spear going over. Link's going to be pushing that mid lane back into Golden Glue.
I always like seeing Nidalee players jump away after they throw spears to try and increase the max distance. That's how the Nidalee spear used to work, is it would calculate the damage from when the spear hit to the current location of Nidalee. Now it calculates from the start of the spear throw, but players still do it anyway. COG gets this dragon because of their superior rotations.
Old habits die hard. Ooh, trying to get one on that.
We've got 2 levels on Golden Blue right now.
Trying to do that switch fast Cougar javelin throw. Still kind of hides it a bit. Ooh, both just missing off the side of the raid.
They want the big one.
You're gonna try to get it. Link gets in there. They know they can toy with that extra few feet of danger. Nothing can really hurt them right now, being so far up. And now that Dexter's on Lee Sin, he can kind of roam right here between red and go to bottom or back to Link if he needs help. So many resources just for Dignitas to stop a red invade.
Whoa.
So many.
He takes a decent amount of poke, but the blue buff on Nidalee keeps them going. All the while this is happening, COD's actually pushing them back with fewer people. Nien is off having a blast on Trundle.
He's got himself some green shoes. Went back and got some Ninja Tabis for himself.
Ward fight.
Aphromoo not even level 6 yet, and Crumbs is. You can see how he's pushing him out. Level 3.
Exactly. Aphromoo not level 6, but Kiwi Kid's not level 4. That's an even bigger problem right there. Dignitas absolutely dominating. Look at all those pink wards that they have used to push through onto Dignitas. And then a teleport to keep the minion alive. They are going all out on objective. Do not care about kills.
Gonna get this turret. Sending 4 people to that push lane. Definitely soaked up a little more experience than what CLG got out of their 3 push. Everybody's a little more healthy as well. The movements have 4 pink wards now down on that bottom side of the map.
Oh, man.
And another kill coming in on a Golden Glue. That's a flash. I don't think he's getting out of this one. Nien puts himself in the fray. Dexter's in there as well. Still has his ultimate that gets used. Oh my gosh, Kiwi Kid still level 3, takes almost all of his health from 1 javelin. That wasn't even max range.
Riv, this is a CLG team on a mission. They were not happy about their 2 losses thus far in Super Week, and they have cleaned it up overnight. Up pretty much 5,000 gold after this turret goes down, not giving Dignitas an inch.
Exactly 10 minutes in the game, and they start on the mid turret. That first tier is going to be broken out, and the map is now opened up for CLG to roam even that much more. But now we got Nien in the party. His teleport's down, so he's going to stay with this. They're going to take down even that much more until he goes back to the top lane for the split push.
This might be much. Yeah, and this might be some kind of record for how long into the game do you stay level 3. Kiwi Kid was level 3 at 9 minutes a couple days ago, but it is 10.5 minutes, and COG has not allowed him to get even to level 4.
He can't get close
there
either. Level 4 comes in, it's not going to help him. He still goes for the flash! Flash initiation level 4, Kiwi Kid! CLG is on the run from that right now, and Dig, they don't even know if they can reinitiate out for what just happened.
No, but the unfortunate thing for Dignitas there, because they have been getting so pushed around, the level advantages exist very strongly for CLG, and this early on into the game, it's roughly 500 to 800 gold in stats per level, so this gold lead is just exacerbated by the experience advantage of CLG as well, making them infinitely stronger.
Kiwi Kid just going off the rail there. Keeps himself safe though. Did not go down for being level 4 to pretty much right now half of the levels that Link is. So you just imagine how much damage he's going to receive on the first attack. 5,000 gold net lead. CLG thinks that that wasn't too much of what should really be happening, and they go ahead and get a nice strong push on mid lane as Nian returns to top.
Yeah, and Nian just living off his teleport. You can see CLG backing as a unit. One of the most difficult things to do for teams as they try and work towards a stronger team play and rotational game is just the times at which you back. Because everyone gets into habits of wanting to back as soon as they can buy items, but you lose a lot of map pressure as soon as even one person backs. So they were going to lose the map pressure anyway. Everyone backed at once, and they're trying to make it back before this turret goes down as a cohesive unit.
CLG played that situation perfectly. They didn't even go back after they got the first 2 turrets that helped them to really control the map altogether. They do lose mid with the perseverance of Dignitas wanting that mid turret, and good on Dig for that flash initiation, giving them some ground, but they gotta be careful. They don't have much ground to work with.
That's a very painful spear. You could see Link actually going for his Sorcerer's Shoes before finishing his Athene's Unholy Grail because he wants those spears to hit even harder. It's unthinkable for Dignitas to build magic resistance this early, which is why those spears are hitting so hard.
Nian's gonna be back in the top lane, but no, actually he stays. I was gonna say his teleport should be coming up if he's doing that, but it looks like he's just waiting for the rest of the team. They get a call that even though we've warded everything in the bottom, we're gonna start working the top side now. We'll let Doublelift go ahead and push that out.
Yeah, and with the way CLG is playing, it's going to be really tough for Dignitas to come back here. No man on Cruiser. Blade back. Kick back.
Doing what he can. 3v1 situation. He knew he was down. CLG is putting the pieces in place to always get something out of nothing, really. It was just Nian staring Cruiser in the face there. Yeah,
and this is the... As you saw when the fog was toggled there, there's no vision anywhere, even within Dignitas' own jungle, which meant this was a big surprise. Aftermoon does get the Flay, which was enough to get Dexter in range for the kick. And they could use all those resources because Dignitas had no map pressure elsewhere. Another nice move by them.
Definitely the kind of play CLG needs to have in the playoffs. It's the first time we've actually seen a team on the 2v1 go straight to Dragon, so a little bit of adaptation there on what we've been seeing.
Especially red side 2v1.
Right,
They took the 2 turrets and then they were still able to control the Dragon. Which was quite impressive.
They'll be getting another one for themselves here, racking up even more gold to the team. You can see 151 going over to the Link, multiply that out. 24,000 now to 18.1. The little minion just saving that off.
You could tell I'm a Cutie Pie knew there were steals coming. That's why he tried to do as much damage as possible. Actually, he has to use his ultimate just to nuke down the red buff before a potential steal can come in. He does secure it, but that means the Ezreal ult isn't up to clear waves.
He's also far behind on damage. A stacking Bloodthirster for Doublelift now. No Sheen even. Cutie Pie's trying to get a little bit of HP out of the Phage, that movement speed to keep him safe. Hopefully the red buff can trigger some fights here. If Kiwi Kit now with Tibbers up, Flash just on the edge of coming up can initiate a good fight for the team. We're still looking for a kill from Dignitas here. And 5 kills on the side of CLG has given them a lot of map. We see them do this all the time. High structures, low kills.
This actually reminds me of a very early on in the season game by CLG when they actually had Hotshot and they were playing against Curse. They had a 4-0 game against them that was pretty much all rotation heavy. This is pretty crazy. No one is level 9 even. They're going to need all 5 to get this Baron down.
The end better be huge.
Yeah, this is actually a real danger if Dignitas collapses on them, which they are. They got spotted a little bit.
Dignitas does not have vision on the map, but when you don't see anybody in the lanes, they're only at one spot. It does go to Dexter. They should be able to turn on this fight, all 5 of them. Nian getting the command shockwave, and they should be able to organize. Cutie Pie now to get himself in some Mystic shots as they just fight on Tibbers after finding him. Looks like they're safe on Baron. Dignitas very just hesitant on anything they're doing.
Well, that was a little bit too close for comfort for CLG as well. And Dignitas' hesitation of going towards there was well warranted considering their abysmal ward control throughout this game because CLG has been dominating them in vision. But their senses were correct there for Dignitas to check the Baron. It's just Crumbs couldn't get in there for a steal. He's not even level 11 yet. Those jumps are very baby-like on Kha'Zix before he has the evolution. I do not blame Crumbs for missing that one.
Stubbed his toe a little bit there. Coming up on 17 minutes in the game. Like you were saying, the wards, there was about 7 to 3 wards on the map. And those 3 wards from Dig only came because they were trying to get to Baron. So it was basically dark everywhere. A 9,000 gold lead will actually cut your wards off the map quite easy. That means the other team has the vision. They're going to start sweepers quite soon. But really, the sweeper is only on to Aframu right now. So CLG is working with having the vision, knowing they're going to win the fights no matter what happens.
And winning the fights no matter what happens is very key for them right now. You can actually see Warden's Mails on Nien and Dexter. They're building up armor, not so much to, you know, withstand Dignitas' damage, but to withstand turret damage, I think. The tanks are going to be wanting to go in and maybe participate in some turret dives as CLG tries to squeeze this one out very quickly.
Wow. Oh, going for a relentless pursuit. He throws on the ultimate. Calling is going to be just a little bit. I don't know if he has enough. Double it flashes out of the hit coming in from Cruiser. And they're going to be able to turn this. Ardent Blaze hitting on the side of that one, and he gives himself another kill.
7-0, and the gold lead grows. There's the flash, forcing another one. This turret's going down.
They do need that armor for turret dive in a little bit, chat. It's going to be another hit up. Nien's in the bottom lane. CLG is so far ahead this game. They're 1-3-1-ing, and now to the top lane after they don't even need to go for mid. 7-0 in kills. They have a shutout on that, and they look to take an inhibitor turret without Dignitas responding. They're kind of just walking around in their base.
CLG is on pace for a flawless victory here. 7 kills to 0, and they are just everywhere when compared to Dignitas. And once they have a lead of this magnitude, they can keep taking larger and larger risks. That's why they're all still in front of the base. They want more.
Still going very hard onto this. Double Lift not even having a chance to go back and finish the pieces of his Triforce. CLG probably has quite a bit of money they're working with right now, but can't even, they just want to get these structures down because they know they have that advantage. This is almost like the point of going back and wanting to buy, but they know they can get so much more even without it.
Exactly, they want to buy because they're actually collectively sitting on about 6,600 gold right now. Jeez. But the pressure they would lose is a little bit more than that, which is why they're sticking around and trying to get as many advantages off of the rest of this Baron buff before they go back and shop. If they go back and shop now, the rest of the Baron buff would decay and they wouldn't get use out of it. Right now, the gold in their pockets is made up for by the gold value of that Baron buff.
Well, looking for another inhibitor in the end. Pretty much uncontested on this bottom side because they have to focus with all of their members. Even 2 resources being pulled off just for 1 every time. The numbers are in favor of Counter Logic Gaming. Even if Dignitas brings more to the fight, Kiwi Kid gets 1 hit onto Double Lift. He's barrier and flashes down from the previous engagement. Gets himself a little too close there. CLG is going to have to back off for a second, but all the meanwhile,
inhibitor number 2 goes down. It did cost Double Lift his life because he burned his flash and barrier in the previous engagement, but look at this. The destruction continues. 9 turrets, and this could be the 3rd inhibitor sub 20 minutes. This could be grounds for a 20-minute surrender if Dignitas doesn't want to withstand this push.
Well, it looks like they're going to have to do what they can to put up the last bit of Riot Shield as CLG is not leaving the base, even with Baron off and a Double Lift down. The spear's still coming out from Link. Good disengage from the Pillar of Nien. They're really not worried about what Dig can bring to the table. They don't have a Talisman of Ascension yet. They're only working off of home guards, and not even everybody has those.
You can see how far behind Dignitas is. They're really just getting started with their builds while CLG is getting ready to finish the game. This back was just CLG putting a line of how far they were willing to push their limits here. They probably could have stuck around and then tried to push once the 3 waves of super minions arrived at the base. But because they were collectively sitting on about 8,000 gold, they decided to shop. The death cap is rather important at this point in the game. I mean, this is an 11,000 gold lead at 20 minutes. It's too much for Dignitas to realistically handle. CLG should just be able to push this in with 3 waves of super minions. And, I mean, just the super minions, even without CLG people there, is a full-time job for Dignitas to keep back right now because they don't have the items required to clear these monstrous minions pushing into their base.
CLG looking to end the game here. fastest.
Look at how hard it is for them to kill one. The auras work on each other for the super minions. So when there's two of them up, they are even stronger. And now when they all come together, these turrets are toast.
Damage is already on to the Nexus. Dignitas doing the rest that they can as Cutie Pie takes just about all of his HP. Gets a shield and the barrier down. The kick did not kill him, or would not have killed him. The Nexus turret falls. The Nexus is going to go down. And CLG looks to win the fastest game of the North American Spring Split in 2014. They're going for the kills though. They're letting the minions do the work. They're going to be able to get these kills 9-1. The Nexus falls at 21-35. Our fastest game of the split.
Yeah, that's one way to finish the regular season for CLG. They are completely back to their rotational gameplay. The scrims are open. It's serious time right here for CLG, and they obliterated Dignitas from the very start, playing the 2v1s. Even if others say it's impossible to, or disadvantageous to play from the red side, CLG made it an advantage. They rotated faster towards the mid lane, they controlled Dignitas off the dragon, and they secured every objective with vision control in this game.
That was absolutely crazy. Counter Logic Gaming flipping a switch, as we said, to get the quickest game of the spring split. Previously, it was Dignitas versus Team Solo Mid at 22:48, just about a minute away.
That was a fast game,
to
say the least. As you say, the fastest as well. CLG, they're all smiles now. They were very unhappy with each other after their defeats to Cloud9 and Curse, especially the Curse game. But they had a very dominating victory yesterday over EG, and then an even more dominating one here. Just the one death to double lift. 9 kills to 1, but all well warranted. That gave them the second inhibitor and just accelerated the game even more so.
Yeah, and to bring up something of this, and if you go back and watch it, it's a great game to watch for vision control.
Right.
But they were up a lot of gold. You got to consider that as well. It's always easy to place vision when you have that. And that kind of leads into our replay that we'll bring up of Cruiser getting ganked this time. And you can see where the vision comes into play.
Yeah, exactly. Just try and find the wards for Cruiser, and they don't exist, which is why CLG was able to get all the way into their jungle and sneak behind him. And it's not necessarily at a huge fault of Cruiser for trying to farm, because he needs to be able to get minions. Therefore, you have to take inherent risk. It's just because CLG was controlling so much of the map that they were able to punish. The mobility that they granted with... It was actually more of a poke comp for CLG, but they turned it into a very fast push composition because all the poke was landing to get kills before anyone could build resistances.
And Dignitas went in, and we obviously said the Jace pick for Cruiser is something we have liked to see. He's been playing it very well, but their composition kind of then went from poke to kind of somebody wants to dive in with some ball delivery, but still stay for poke because it's dangerous. And it didn't formulate very well in the team fights.
Yeah, the Dignitas team composition never got going. They never got a chance. They weren't able to build their items. It was really just a suffocation and gold denial for CLG. 27,000 gold collectively amongst the entire team at the end of the game is not what you expect. If you look at Dignitas' average games, a lot of those guys are getting 12,000 gold apiece.
Yeah.
I mean, 27,000 divided by 5 is not a very big number. They did not have that much gold.
It's not. And coming into that, we look at this 2v1 now, and if you can gain a lead off of those two turrets as CLG did, it's a huge lead. It's bigger than any other early game lead we've seen because Dignitas had no way to get back from that. CLG went bottom and controlled the game completely because they adapted faster than day. Let us know what you guys think were the standout moments by tweeting at LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS Big Plays. For more on CLG's commanding performance right now, we're going to toss it over to Freak and Kobe.
Thank you very much, Riff. What's up, guys? We're joined by Double Lift here of Counter Logic Gaming. You guys looked angry that game. 21.5 minutes? What happened?
Yeah, we were a little bit annoyed because everyone was saying, like, oh, this is like the downfall of CLG, like, blah, blah, all this stuff after we lost first Curse. And so we tried pretty hard this game. And as you saw, like, we just beat them up. It was really easy. I don't think that the bottom 5 teams know how to play 2v1 at all.
Okay. So you opted into it because you think you have the strategic edge here. What are you holding them back?
Every team pretty much does it, to be honest. Like whether you're a top 3 team against another top 3 team or like you're just playing whatever, you just do it when it's advantageous for us, for the team. And like Dig is especially like one of those teams that I feel like they just don't really care and they just play like what they want to play. And so Cruiser's like playing Jace, and he's like the only person who plays Jace in this last like month. And we're just like,
all right, they don't really want to win. So we just 2v1 Jace, and then Jace becomes useless.
Yeah, it was really interesting because I feel like the 2 versus 1 situation has become very formulaic in this new patch. You usually do the swap so that you can invade and secure your jungler 2 buffs, and then you take 1 or 2 turrets, and then the wave that you build up, you freeze it for as long as you can with your top laner, and once you build it up, you push down a turret with it. You guys caught out a couple of Dig members down there. What do you think is keeping them from jumping on the same train as all the other teams in the new patch?
I think one of the biggest issues is that the bottom 5 teams generally have players that don't want to play meta champions. The top laners especially. They want to play like Jax or Jace or Lee Sin or whatever it is. And Lee Sin's like okay, you know, like that's like borderline because he's a bruiser and you can run TP on him and he's kind of effective in 2v1 because he can jungle. But a lot of these players are like, I just want to like carry and it sucks being 2v1 so I'm just going to freeze. And I understand that mindset because it really does suck getting denied. And then you just do want to freeze to get as much CS as you possibly can. But then you have to look at like what a good team will do. You know, what would C9 do to you? What would CSM? What would we do to you? And it's exactly that. Like we're just gonna foreman you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're just dead. And as soon as you lose 2 champions and a tower, and all your top laner got was like a wave of CS, you pretty much just lost the game. So it just happens with top laners who are willing to play for the team as opposed to like playing selfishly.
So then actually to think about this then, if you can project forward, what do you think sort of the next evolution of like, well, of course you should always do this? Right, like, okay, yeah, the turrets go down. Well, you should push, not freeze, because you got a turret for it. What's next in like this chain of advantages?
Well, I think actually there was a really big shift when everyone started running TP. So when top laners started running TP on champions like Shiv, on champions like Lee Sin, you can actually kind of counter that dive that every team is doing when you try to like 4v3, because then it becomes a 4v4. So I think that was like an adaptation that people made where like you can kind of freeze, but only for a little bit because TP's only up 1 time. You know, you can only do it for 1 wave, but like, and then after that you kind of have to go back to your frozen wave unless you want to break the freeze. So it's like a band-aid fix for like a couple minutes of freezing. I think the next adaptation, it's really formulaic right now because you can kind of tell which lane it's going to. It's going to go bottom, right? Yeah. So you can also do that like on the base turrets, like just dive the inhib at like 4 minutes. You can also do it on mid, which is something that nobody really does. I definitely think that like OGN will probably be the team or the league to break it, and then the rest of NA will kind of follow because we're kind of scared of doing new stuff.
It's weird. I think it's interesting because you said we're like afraid of doing new stuff, but you're like, but the guys who aren't playing standard top laners, they're wrong.
Well, yeah, because they didn't really think about like obviously you don't see Balls, Dyrus, or Nian playing like really random stuff like Jace top. So. And our success, I think, is partly attributed to the fact that our top laners will win to play for the team.
Okay. All right, so let's bring up a replay from that game. This is one of the instances where you guys put some hurt on Golden Glue.
Oh, yeah.
So let's roll this one through and walk us through it.
Okay, so Link's going hard on Golden Glue right here because apparently I didn't really...
this is just a solo.
Oh, this is just a solo kill. Yeah, I thought this was when we were roaming around. I think Link is just going ham right here. And Golden Glue is just like always out of position. I feel like he doesn't respect that Thresh can just walk him and hook him right there, so he gets hooked, he's dead for free, and then we're just like right here, our combo's like the right clear's dead, let's go mid. And I'm pretty sure, that was pretty ham right there by Dexter, but it was close. He likes to make the big plays on Lee, but as soon as you kill the enemy mid laner especially has to have really, really good positioning. I think even better than ADs right now, because when your mid laner's dead and people are 2v1ing, you're generally roaming as 4 or 5 people, like a unit, and as soon as the mid laner's dead, you're ready to pounce on a tower as 5 people.
And in this matchup, in the 2 versus 1 situation where there's no jungler involvement, Orianna seems like a good mid lane pick. Should be able to bully Nidalee early.
Yeah, actually, I think Ori has like superior wave clear, but Link is, I think, just the better player right now. Golden Glue's kind of nervous with LCS. It doesn't have as much experience, and Link, I think, is the top 2 NA mid, if not the best. So, like, I expect him to win against Golden Glue pretty handily, which he did.
Well, of course, congratulations to Link. Then actually talking about people at the top of the roll, though, we've got a replay of you. Pretty much 1v2ing. You got another one this game if you want to pull the replay up.
Oh, yeah, I remember this. So we're 1-3-1ing right now. Because we're so far ahead, we can take 3 lanes at once. And I see that they're trying to make like some sort of desperate 2v1 play on me. But as soon as Cruiser goes to 50%, I know that this is not going to work. Like, if you just think about it, the only damage that they have right now is Cruiser's burst. And Jace, when he goes into melee form, you just flash the Q and it doesn't do any damage to you. I'm not sure if that's just been part of the game for a while. And then Link is here to back me up just in case like I fail the skirmish or whatever. It's best to have Nidalee mid lane because she can always go to a side lane in case they try to make a play like really fast. She can pounce around and give you a heal to save you, and that's what we did. It's pretty easy. I don't know why Dig did that.
So the hammer has to hit you to do the damage.
Yeah.
If you don't hit him with the hammer, he's not going to do any damage. Makes sense, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Sure. Yeah, come on. It's logic. Okay, so I like that. The like little adaptation where it's like, I love the teams that realize things like that where you're like, oh yeah, Nidalee goes mid because she can go somewhere else, help someone else out, right? Like,
Yep.
Are there any little like trade secrets like that you can think of that you feel like other teams aren't implementing that are like really obvious?
Not really. I think everything's pretty intuitive to us, but like, I don't know. I don't think any team who's LCS level should be losing out hard in 2v1s right now. Like, it's really basic. It's just really simple. People who try to like put in their own like little swag onto it or something, they generally fall behind, especially against top 3 teams right now.
Okay, so let's actually move forward then to your playoff matchup is going to be against Team Coast 3 vs 6. We know that's for sure in the first round. They're going to be playing against Cloud9 later today. How do you feel about Coast?
Coast is actually pretty decent. Shifter is really good. Everyone always just says that. That's really obvious. Their bot lane's been not playing not so good recently.
WizFusion got like, what, 15 kills in the last game that they played?
Yeah. Yeah, but if he doesn't get Lucian, I feel like Wiz is like not as impactful. Like his best champion is Lucian, and he's really good on it. But if you ban it out or take it away from him, he's not as like playmaking.
I have an interesting follow-up to that. Do you feel like WizFusion plays differently in solo queue than in LCS matches?
Yeah, he does. He plays really aggressive. This happens a lot to LCS players. I like find them in solo queue and they'll play really aggressive. I'm like, wow, they're getting a lot better. And then when I play them in LCS, I feel like they're nervous. They're like second guess themselves, and it only takes like 1 split second of indecision, and then you lost a trade because like the other AD is playing more manly than you, and you're just like scared.
Yeah, so you're knocking people around then. So speaking of knocking people around, I want to ask you, what is your favorite moment from this year so far?
My favorite moment? Definitely the game against TSM on the 29th when we finally won and we broke their like 3-win streak against us. That was probably like the most exciting game I've ever played. I normally like, after a game I'm just like, yeah, whatever we won, or like, yeah, whatever we lost. But after that game I was like, that was such a good game. Like I want to go back and watch it over and over and over again because it was so good.
Your crowning achievement of crushing them.
How many times have you watched it already?
Twice.
Only
twice?
I
came home and watched it twice in a row. Yeah.
Twice in a row.
It was so good.
Immediately relived an hour of your life over and over again. All right, Double Up, thank you very much. Of course, we're just warming up here in the last day of Super Week. When we come back, Evil Geniuses will look for a win in their quest for 7th place as they face off against Team Curse. Don't go anywhere.